Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, welcome to the 12th Dimension, where I'm joined by Aage Nost. I think I've kind of got it right. Just before we do start, though, I just want to do a quick thing about the podcast. So if you just bear with me 1 minute. So I just want to say thank you and hello to all of you who subscribe and tune in each week, and also those that listen now via podcast. With well over 100 downloads in less than 2 weeks across 6 countries, including the US, the UK, Ireland, Lithuania, Canada, and the Philippines. So thank you all, and please remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share. The more you guys like and comment on the podcast and YouTube, the better the channel. So thank you everyone on the, like I said, podcast and YouTube. Really do appreciate it. So a quick bio for Aage. He spent 1 year in mandatory military service driving a battle tank in his country of birth, which was Norway. By the age of 25, he has learned several languages, studied science, including metaphysics and different forms and theories of spirituality. At the age of 25, he left Norway to go to the USA to go to flight school at Emery School of Aviation in Greeley, Colorado. 1 year after he graduated from, after 1 year, he graduated from flight school. So, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I have coffee in hand and I am ready to go.
So can I ask the first question? It is in the bio. And it was, so I just need to get the wording right. So while still a teenager, you learned to hypnosis from a magician in Europe. Can you please tell me about that? Because that sounds so fascinating. And I'm really jealous.
Gosh, that was so long ago. I think I was about 17 or 18 years old.
Yeah.
And I found out about this magician, and he's doing some really extravagant experiments on stage where he hypnotized somebody just by shaking their hand.
Oh.
And I thought that was so neat. I had to learn how to do this. So
yeah,
I contacted him, and he had a book that he says, well, before we do anything, you need to read this, he says. So he sent me this book, and I read it, and I was more intrigued. So then we started talking, and we did a lot of the training because he lived in Oslo and I was further up in the country near Steinkjer, which is about 6 hours drive between the two places. And this magician, his name is Tore Torell.
Right.
And if you go to YouTube and Google him and stuff, you'll see some really, really interesting stuff. So So I started learning from him and practicing on one of my friends in the neighborhood.
Right.
And we had really some fun with this. And then I started, because I was kind of the oddball in the neighborhood,
Right.
the one that went and did stuff that they didn't never heard of, and like building
Yeah.
a UFO detector that worked at the age of 12 and stuff like that.
Wow.
So I was kind of a weird kid, but I started doing self hypnosis because that I could do it by myself, and I could really excel with that because I started to develop my mind so I could do things that normally people would think would be impossible.
Yes.
And I would highly recommend to anybody listening to this, look into it. I teach this stuff, and it is it's phenomenal what you can do with your mind once you structure it and
Yeah.
block the negative mind programs that is placed there from the time that you are this tall. They
Right.
are still there if you're 65. It doesn't matter. They're still down there running your life. You
Yeah.
got to do away with those negative inputs that your parents, in their own not knowing any better, placed there. When they tell you no all the time, that goes in there. It's just, yeah, okay, I guess I shouldn't. I shouldn't do this because, and then somebody say, yeah, sure, am I made out of money? When you ask for something, then
Yeah.
the subconscious mind believes absolutely everything it is told and take it as fact. So,
Yeah.
and the subconscious mind says, oh, okay, we shouldn't be asking for any money. So then it creates a subconscious mind program that is running again. And this holds you back. If you
Yeah.
start with self hypnosis and structure the mind so all of these things go away and you install positive, forward looking commands into the subconscious,
Right.
that your life will change.
Mm.
It's really that simple.
Wow. So, how long did it take you to learn this?
Oh, I don't know, not very long. No, it just after I read the book he sent me, then we start talking on the phone,
Yeah.
and best of all, he never even charged me for it. He was just one of those guys that just
Oh,
did
that's all
things.
right.
So
Result.
yeah, and I would say it changed my life,
Yeah.
and I've been doing it ever since I was 17, and
Right.
that is oh God, I don't know even want to say this, 60 years ago.
Wow. Jeez.
Boy, I dated
So,
myself on that one.
so you've been doing that ever since. Obviously, you've been doing other stuff as well.
Yeah,
But
and I am totally sure I would never have been able to do what I have done in my life had it not been for self hypnosis, because the program that you get from society and your neighbors and your brother-in-law that hasn't done anything great in his life, he's giving you financial advice on top of all of it, and you listen.
yeah.
No, this is not good. You got to do your own programming, and when you do, your life will change.
Right.
You know what you want. Other people, they don't care what you want. They want you to do what they want.
Yeah. Yep. No, totally
Another
get you
thing
on
that
that
I
one.
Another thing I noticed is that when it comes to financial things, you can use hypnosis for that, but also get out of your old neighborhood, because you will be plus or minus $5,000 in annual income away from the people you hang out with.
Right.
So if you start hanging around millionaires, you're going to do well. If you hang around broke people, not so much.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the latter with that one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like,
But
yeah,
so was that? I'm just being nosy now. Was that one of the reasons that you moved from Norway to the US? Was that from doing the hypnosis?
that was because I had a dream.
Yeah.
And that dream was so scary. It scared the daylight out of me, actually, because I was riding along with a friend in Norway when he was taking flying lessons. And I was sitting in the back, and he was up there with the instructor flying the airplane. And I looked around and I said to myself, Self, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I had no idea how to do it. But it took me about probably about 3, 4 years to figure out how to do it. And I was born on a farm, and being the only son, I'm supposed to take over the farm. And yeah, traditions are very strong over there. So I we sold the farm, and I left and went to the United States to become a commercial pilot.
Yeah.
And everybody back there, they say, "Oh, yeah, you're an idiot. You'll never make it." And I told them, "Well, there's this place in Saudi Arabia where you can go, because I know this spot you can go down there and pound sand." That is an American expression that it'd be more productive for you to go down there and pound sand than talking to me.
Yeah. That's really, is that what he said?
Yeah. So no,
Wow.
it was tough. I knew English, but I didn't know the American language, because
Right.
that's bastardized English. It is full of slang and words that you don't see in the dictionary and things like
Yeah.
that. So I had a hard time in flight school until I did something. Hey, this is something, listen real close, folks, because you can do this. If you know somebody in college, you can do this, and they will really do well with it. I used something called sleep tapes.
Yeah.
And that is, I had a big tape recorder that I brought with me, the big one with the two
Oh,
reels.
yeah.
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 And I had an endless loop tape.
Right.
So it was 30, I think 30 minutes long. And whenever I read something that could be meteorology or navigation or anything in flight school, I read what I needed the next day. I read it in on the tape recorder,
Yeah.
and I went to sleep, and I ran that thing all night. Really
Yeah.
low, so I could hardly hear it, but my subconscious mind would hear it. And it programmed the mind while I was sleeping to remember everything and have perfect recall at any time I need it. And this is extremely effective.
Yeah.
And I did that, and it did me well. I had all of my written tests on the wall of honor, except for one I didn't do, the first one. But I did really well with it. And I told actually other students there also about it. And I think there was 2 or 3 of them that had tape recorders like that. So they did it too. And they loved it, because this is an excellent way of learning.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because you say, like, if you want to learn a different language, is to play it through the night while you're sleeping, or anything that you anything that you want to learn, regardless of what it is. Like you said, just have it on loop and listen to it every night until
Yep.
one day you just wake up and you know what's what.
Yeah, this is something that people that go to other countries, they have the same problem, because I came to the United States, I was reading in English, but I
Yeah.
was thinking in Norwegian. So I had to translate it from English to Norwegian to put it into long-term memory.
Right.
And then to get it back out, I had to do the whole thing in reverse again. I had to bring it out in Norwegian and then translate it to English when I was talking to people or doing written tests.
Yeah.
It's cumbersome and it's hard to do.
Yeah. So I only speak English, don't speak any other languages. But I know a few people from different parts of Europe, and you can see, like, when I'm talking to them, they'll be talking to you in English, but you can see them thinking about what they're going to say next and how to. You can see them trying to translate it in their head. So when it comes out, it's in English and not their given language. So yeah, I don't think that'd mess me up. Now I don't think I could cope with that. It'd be too much.
Yeah.
Just have a meltdown and sit crying in the corner.
You can get used to anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely anything. There's nothing that you cannot do once you structure your mind right, because science has found in quantum mechanics now, they have found that we live in a mind-created universe.
Okay.
Our mind is involved in creating everything around us. Everything.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, let's create good things.
Yeah. So with you saying that, does then each of us individually live in our own type of world or universe? Or is it a combination of everything put together into one? Or could it be both?
Well, this is a little tough to wrap our heads around. Quantum mechanics is only looking at one side of it. They look at the entanglement, and they look at the science side of it, but there's another science called spiritual science. That's what I call one of my books. And the spiritual science go much deeper, because there is a universal mind out there, self-aware, holographically generated universal mind that helps to set down the baseline for what we accept to be real. Within that baseline, we create everything around us. We know that we're supposed to have 2 arms.
Yeah.
Never mind the third one. You're not going to have 3 arms. That is one of the baselines in your creation of yourself and your environment around you. Everybody that you know have 2 arms. So that's one of the baseline. And the commonalities of everything that we are accepting becomes our reality. And there is, in fact, there's some science to this. There's a physicist named James Gates.
Right.
And he says that when we look deep in the equations explaining the fabric of space, we find computer language, ones and zeros. We didn't put it there, but it's there, and it's too organized to be put there by random. It was put there by an intelligence. So if there is computer language in the explanations of the fabric of space, there's got to be a computer somewhere. I couldn't really care.
I can't get my head around this.
Yeah, but think of this way. If there's a computer somewhere, I don't really care. I know that there is, not one that you're looking at right now, but it's much more.
Yeah.
But I am more interested in who's sitting at the computer.
Well, that was my next question, was where did this computer come from? And where is this computer?
I found him.
Oh.
I'll point at him.
Go on.
You are sitting at the computer in your reality. I'm sitting at the computer in my reality.
Right.
And the reason that I can actually kind of prove to you that this is real is I have about a 45-second description that will kind of show you, yes, it is. I'm a hypnotist, and if I put you in a soft chair and talk to you for about 10 minutes and tell you that when you wake up, you're going to see an elephant standing next to you in the room.
Right.
And when I snap my finger
yeah,
and bring you back out, if I did my job right, you would see that elephant. He will be right there next to you. You can reach out, touch the snout on the elephant. You can feel the rough skin. You can hear him breathing. You can smell him. He is right there and perfectly real to you. The only problem is that I can't see the elephant because there's no elephant there.
Yeah. So
Now,
you're
I
not creating it. The
I
person,
help you create that elephant out of your mind.
yes.
So then the question is, you feel the rough skin. He is real to you.
Yeah.
Did your real world go away or did you create another one?
Mm.
You did create another reality
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
with an elephant in it. That is, what's the difference between that and the reality that James Gates talk about? There is no difference. It is perfectly real, both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose, because if you can see it, feel it, smell it, and
Yeah.
it's there and you know it's there, then it's real and it exists. But like you said, it only exists to that individual or individuals that have had that, I suppose, that thought process put into the mind.
Yeah.
So then,
And of course,
sorry, go
see,
on.
this kind of activity, by creating that elephant, it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not when you start out, he'll show up.
Right.
When you talk about hypnosis, the books or the PhDs and the psychiatrists and everybody that writes books on hypnosis, they tell you that you cannot hypnotize anybody against their will, against their religion,
Yeah.
against just about anything. Oh, yes, you can. You
Ah.
can. There are several murders done under hypnosis, and the guy never knew he did it afterwards.
Ah.
And you could walk up to somebody and
Yeah.
talk to him for about 10 seconds, shake his hand,
Yeah.
and he will be totally under your will. Whatever you tell him, he will do.
Right.
That's what you learn from a magician. You don't learn that from the books. That
Right.
is put out there for people to be comfortable to come to them and do it. They don't want to scare them.
Yeah.
And because if they did, they wouldn't make any money on the books. So
Well.
it's really very simple.
Yeah. So, well, I got one question for you.
Yeah.
So you've heard the term or the thing of sleeper soldiers, people that are, can't, I suppose, hypnotized until they're ready to, or sleepers until they're ready to be woken and do the job that they're, I suppose, programmed to do. Does that exist, or is that just in the movies and fictional? Do you know?
Well, we know we have bases on Mars.
Right.
We know that because
Yeah.
there's an old program called Alternative 3. That was the brain drain from Earth. They
Yeah.
recruited the sharpest minds, the engineers, the sharpest mind, and invited them to go to Mars, to the bases there. The
Right.
super soldiers are there guarding the bases because there are creatures on Mars that is not very friendly.
Okay. So can
And
you? Oh, sorry. I was going to say, can you go into more detail about that?
yeah, I probably could. Well, we know also from the people that have been there, there's very, very many similarities of the stories that they come back with. 20 and back, that program. And they go out there and they spend 20 years and come back and they are regenerated to the younger age
Right.
when they at the time they left.
Yeah.
Now I know that's another one that is really hard to wrap your head around.
Well, that was part of the next question. It's like
Yeah,
if they've gone for 20 years and then they come back, surely people are going to notice,
yeah.
because 20 years there, I'm guessing, isn't the same as 20 years here.
Hmm. Well, the thing is that we know also from the pictures that has come back from Mars that there is things up there. There
Yeah.
is people up there. In fact, if you go to one of our website, broadcastteamalpha.com, you scroll down into the shows and the videos, you will find a video that's called The Mars Pictures. If you find
Right.
that, you will see pictures, NASA prints, that in one of them, actually, about, I think I got 3 of them there that show people, or should I say humanoids, on Mars.
Oh, right.
And
Okay.
one of them is standing there leaning up against a rock, and it is perfectly clear. You cannot doubt that that is a person standing there. So another one
Right.
sitting in front of the camera. And another one is one of the first ones. I think you see a gray alien standing about 20 feet away from the rover.
Yeah.
It is right there.
Oh,
And that picture with the gray alien, that was intercepted by somebody from the signal coming back from Mars. It was intercepted before NASA got their hands on it to alter it, or take some of the specs and everything. Once you see the
yeah.
picture, you can understand.
Right. I'm just going to put this up. It was the picture that it's not a picture of any cryptids or anything, but
Yeah.
it's the one from the broadcast team Alpha.
That's on YouTube, is it?
No, that's what you emailed across to me yesterday.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah,
Yeah, I'm just putting it up for the people in the chat so they can see, and then
okay,
obviously go into it on.
yeah,
Is it? It's on YouTube, isn't it? So they can go and view it on there.
yeah. But
Yeah.
there's things up there, and there is. This comes out of the black budgets.
Right.
There is accountants that works at the Pentagon, and they say that now they used to be 12 trillion, but they think now that there's about 20 to 23 trillion dollars missing from the military budgets. And that is enough to create a secret space program that can take care of space and travel, because we
Yeah.
have technologies that will travel faster than light. And anti-gravity was invented by the Nazi Germans,
Yes.
and the Americans and the Brits and the Russians. They came there and they stole that technology and brought it home, and they've been developing it ever since. So this is
Yeah.
they're keeping it from us. They don't want us to know that. I think the Chinese as well has gotten that kind of technology, maybe from the Russians. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So do you think, or do you know, whether that's part of what's going on in Antarctica?
Antarctica?
Is it Antarctica? Yeah, with the no-fly zone.
Oh, yeah. But you can fly over parts of Africa.
Yeah.
But there is one area about in the middle where it is a prohibited airspace. And there is
Okay.
nothing there, just ice. Why do you think they made it a prohibited airspace if there's just ice? They're hiding something.
Oh yeah, they've
And
got it.
that is the entrance to the cavity inside the earth.
Right.
And another one is in the Queen up in Queen Maud's land. That is where the Nazi Germans made their base 211, and
Yeah.
they flew a lot of the material, the most important stuff, the gold they stole, and art and technology that they siphoned out of Germany in the last 2 years of the war. They brought it down to Antarctica, and they have that there. They have free energy. They have anti-gravity. They build ships down there that can travel from pole to pole in 30 minutes.
Wow.
And because that's what Admiral Byrd said. So we
Yeah.
know that there's things down there that we're not supposed to know. And now we are going to find in the next few years, if they get their way, that there's going to be a theme park or an amusement park down there that we can go to in one of the ships that they found. There's 3 large ships under the ice,
Yeah.
and they have figured out how some of the old technologies work, because those ships, they got flash frozen when evidently the Earth changed its orbit, so that Antarctica was not always at the bottom of the world, and it was lush forests and animals down there,
Yeah.
because they found the skeletons, they have found the trees and the vegetation under the ice, so we know that it
Right.
was.
Yeah. Oh. So with this space program and these secret soldiers, is it secret soldiers? Oh,
Super soldiers, yeah.
super soldiers. That's it. So how how many do you think there are, or do you know how many there are, and how often do they
I don't
how
know.
often do they go? What countries do they go from? Any
Well,
knowledge?
yeah, there's several bases, so I imagine there's quite a few, I suppose. I would think, but when
Yeah.
they come back, then they are given a memory wipe.
Yeah.
Now there is some scientific experiments showing that this is possible, to bring them back in time to the physiological shape they had when they left. Because in plasma technology,
Yeah.
the mind of the one that is operating the equipment gets in the machinery and help to create within that plasma. There's
Right.
experiments that has been done with this and done successfully. And from what the skunk works is probably worked out fairly well, but they don't talk to anybody. But there are other laboratories that has been able to work with animals. An old animal was regenerated back to a young animal, like
Right.
they use rats.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, this has been done. If it's done with animals, given another 10, 20 years of experimentation, I bet that we now also would know how to do it with people.
Right. Because that was the next thing I was going to ask you about. So
Yeah.
in the notes, it's got how to reverse the aging process, as a Nobel Prize was given for, and nobody told us.
Yeah. That's when you hear about this, it kind of makes you angry almost, because in 2009, I tell you, if you're listening to this and you're 19 years old and you're 20 foot tall and bulletproof, you don't really care about aging, but you have parents.
Yeah.
Go grab your parents and have them come and listen to this, because they want to know and take
Uh-huh.
notes. Because in 2009, there were 3 doctors that was given the Nobel Prize for discovering an enzyme that reverses the aging process, and nobody told you. This should have been the most extravagant medical discovery this millennia,
Yeah.
but nobody told you. Of course,
No.
understanding what's happening in the world right now with the depopulation program, I can understand why they didn't tell you.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, this is something that everybody can do. And don't take my word for it. Go to the Nobel Committee's website,
Yeah.
scroll down to 2009, scroll down again to medical submissions, and read the papers.
So I'm just writing this down so I don't forget.
2009
Medical
and
submission.
medical submissions, and read the papers.
Right.
Somewhere in those papers, it's quite voluminous, so it'll take you a little while to read it, but
Yeah.
your life is worth it. So somewhere in there, in those papers, there's one of the doctors make the comment that if everybody had enough of this enzyme in the body, there would be no need for anyone to ever die from old age.
Ah.
That is powerful. And you know, the Nobel Committee is in Oslo, Norway, and I'm from Norway. I know how these guys work. I studied them. And the thing about it is that if they found anything wrong with anything in the submission,
Yeah.
they would throw out the whole thing.
Ah, right. Okay.
So now that one stands. And the thing about it is that our body is creating this enzyme always. But as we get older, it doesn't create enough to be able to reverse the aging process or even stop it. Just because the pituitary dries out and it starts creating less and less of this enzyme.
Right.
Telomerase depends on how you pronounce it. That is the name of this enzyme. And there is several ways you can actually do this, because when the pharmaceutical companies found out about this, they went to work and they were going to create something that could reverse or stop the aging process. So they came up with a product called TA65.
Okay.
And TA-65. And it's a little expensive. It'll set you back about $400 to $600, depends on where you buy it from.
Yeah.
But I studied that, and I find that some people say, "Yeah, this is great. It's working for me," and most of them say, "No, it didn't do nothing."
Yeah.
But I do, as close as I can, to another guy that died from an accident at the age of 256. And if you go Google him, the 256-year-old man, you're going to see pictures of him, and you're going to see a description of him, and you can read about it. But the thing is,
I think I've already read about that.
yeah, Li Xing-yuan is the guy's name, and
I was going to say, is he Oriental?
He was a martial art instructor for the Chinese army for as long as anybody can remember.
Yeah.
He was also an herbalist. And this is verified by the New York Times newspaper a few years after he died, because they had a reporter in Japan at the time, and they found out about this. So they told the reporter, go to China and verify this story, because this is so strange. We need to know. And he went to China, to this Li Xing-yuan's village. He talked to the people, and they showed him papers where the government verify his age on 3 different occasions.
Right.
So he was that old. And I found other old people. There was, farmers in the Middle East that died at 172, and there's other people, but they don't live like we do in the United States and England.
No.
No, they live, and they
completely
they
different.
use herbs.
Yeah.
I am doing the herbal method to slow down the aging process and reverse it. Now, I was hoping that it would be a lot quicker, but I'm
Yeah.
seeing that it turns out that it just kind of reverses it at the same rate as you normally would age. So,
Right.
I was hoping that I would be a snot-nosed kid by, a couple of years, but that didn't happen.
Yeah. No, it's good, but it's not that good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I,
No, but
but this is something that in my book about this, yes, I'm going to show you the book, by the way.
yeah. I'll say, yeah, I'll put the link in the description
Here is
anyway.
spiritual science, higher conscious thinking, and how to access the universal consciousness. In there, I talk about what I do. I take the astragalus, and there's another herb, and I take a lot of herbs actually for different
Yeah.
things, and I'm never sick. I haven't been sick in my life, so that's of
Oh,
course I do some other things too, but it is our responsibility to take care of our body, so that's what I do. But in the book, you can learn what I do, and you can perfectly well do the same thing. It
yeah.
is really simple. I buy astragalus by the pound, and I think it set me back about probably $14, $15
Oh, so not a lot then.
for a
Yeah.
month supply.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I'll vouch for you.
Yeah, so this is something that people can do. And I also encourage them to do another thing, as Li Xing Yuan said in one place, and he said that my mind helps me to stay young. So you gotta reject all belief of death.
Yeah.
Once you start reversing the aging process and you can see the results of it, you start seeing that yes, this is possible. And
Yeah.
then all your belief systems involving death can go away.
Right.
Now,
Sorry, can I just interrupt 1 second? Do you have anyone else in the room with you? Are
say
you on
what?
your own? Is there anyone else with you where you are now? Are you on your own?
Yeah, there was for about a second, but then she walked off.
Ah, right. Okay. We thought we heard someone say, "I'll vouch for you."
Yes, I did. Hi, I'm Belle Christine.
Ah, I right. Sorry.
Okay,
We thought we was hearing voices. We thought we were gonna all
you get good ears, Cindy.
paranormal. Yeah. No, it's all good. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Everyone was getting a bit panicky in the chat. So
Yeah,
yeah, sorry about that.
that's all right. That's okay. So, yeah, so the thing about it, folks, is that do your own research, because there's so much out there that has been kept from you.
Yeah.
You
Oh
are
yeah.
being treated like mushrooms and you don't even know it.
Yeah. I know.
That's another
It's tricky.
American saying that
Oh,
really
no,
is
it's the same over here. Yeah. Kept in the dark and fed BS. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's well known over here.
yeah.
But no, it's true. We are kept in the dark with a lot of stuff, and it's just every so often they'll tell us a little bit, and then they'll just stop, and it's like, is that it? You're not gonna carry on, and they'll just move on to something else.
Yeah.
So it's like pointless.
There were one thing that I also mentioned before we, went on the air,
Yeah.
and that is about the mothership.
Yes.
People need to know about this. It has been announced by the United States Air Force and NASA
Yeah.
that there looks like there is a mothership coming in to the solar system and actually came around the sun and coming back out now.
Yeah.
So this this particular ship is long, and it's flat, and it doesn't look like a regular asteroid.
Right.
So when an object comes in and go around the sun, it gets close to the sun, it speeds up a little bit. It's a slingshot effect.
Oh, yeah.
In astrophysics, you can read about that.
Yeah, it goes round and
And
then it goes right
it
back.
speeds up a little bit coming out, but this one speeded up a lot more than what gravity tells you it should. So
Right.
they say this is strange. They couldn't do that without having a propellant or an accelerating force on it.
Yeah.
So they're saying this has to be an artificial body. Now, the thing also is that the NASA administrator, he was fired, and then they took him back and put him on an indefinite sick leave for saying in a speech that there will be an alien invasion by 2025.
Yes.
And, working at NASA, you're not supposed to tell the truth about anything. So that's why they got rid of him. He is
Yes.
now sitting at home getting a good paycheck and probably enjoying life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There is an old program that dates back to the late 1960s, early 1970s called Operation Bluebeam.
Right.
And that program, if you go to the government website, and CIA has it on their site, you can read the papers on Operation Bluebeam. It's about 120 pages, but very interesting reading because it has one purpose,
Yeah.
and that is to create an false or a fake alien invasion.
Yes.
And they're saying that they will blanket the sky with ships looking like flying saucers and other ships. And
Yeah.
in between them, there will be real man-made flying discs that is shooting at stuff on the ground and shooting down military airplanes, possibly airliners. This is in the plan that they're planning to do. So they are this ship coming around the sun will take a few months to come out where we are.
Yeah.
But the NASA said that it is likely that they have probes coming with it.
Yes.
And the probes, they may be shooting at something because they're saying that they're coming back for revenge because we shot down some of their flying saucers.
Right.
And they admitted now that they shot them down. So this is a program that they are going to launch if they get their way.
Right.
It could get really nasty. And this is what Werner von Braun also talked about on the last days at NASA and afterwards.
Yeah.
He explained it to his secretary that the last card that it will be played is an alien invasion, a fake one, to unify all countries under one world government, under a socialist, actually a communist, tyrannical world government where there are unelected people will be the rulers of the world, and they are all housed at the UN.
Ah.
So this is what we're having. And another one, here's a good one for you Christians out there. You know, when you talk about Jesus will come back.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he will. You will see him in the sky, and he's going to be talking to you. You'll hear his voice in your head. And
Yeah.
he's going to say something similar as, I am Jesus, your God. Do as the government tell you so they can protect you.
Yeah.
And the gullible Christians, they're all going to go for that. So they're going to run to the UN and says, please protect us. But it's
Yeah.
all going to be fake. There should be a hologram up there looking like Jesus with his robe and however they want to project him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
remember also, if you are a Muslim living in Saudi Arabia, these people don't discriminate against religion. You're going to see Muhammad up there, and he's going to be talking to you in Arabic.
Right.
They're going to do it. I don't know what they're going to do in India when they got 400 different religions, but
Well,
but I'm sure they're going to do something.
yeah, they've got the work cut out there, then, haven't they?
Yeah, gosh.
Yeah. I've just got a few comments and questions about what you've just been talking about.
Yeah.
I'll start. We'll go back a little bit. Is that okay? So we'll go back. Can we all right to go back to the super soldiers and Mars? So this question's. Then we'll work back to where we're at now. So this question's from Rick Allen, and he wants to know how do you think they breathe on Mars when the oxygen level is 0.13%?
Well, that is what we are told.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that, remember back when they said that, oh, Mars, that's the red planet. When they had pictures from even the sky was red. They don't do that anymore. Now the sky on Mars is blue like here.
Yeah.
How can
I was
that
going to
be?
say, how's it gone from red to blue?
It's because they quit using the brown filter.
Yeah.
Because people called and there were people at NASA came out with it. Yeah, we're using a brown filter to make it all look brown. So they got caught. So now they're not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
In order to have a blue sky, what do you have to have?
Oxygen.
Got it.
Yeah.
You have to have moisture and oxygen.
Yeah.
Because that reflects the sun rays so that you can see the blue.
Yeah, because it cuts
So
out the red. It filters the red, doesn't it?
Any other gas does not turn blue. We have been lied to again. There is air on Mars. And go to Broadcast Team Alpha and look in the Mars pictures, the video documentary that Nori and I did.
Yeah.
Look at it, and you will see there is people up there not wearing a spacesuit.
Wow. It just shows, doesn't it, what we're not told.
Yeah. There's another thing. I don't know if I guess I got a couple of minutes here. I can tell you.
Yeah. Plenty of time.
I don't even understand anymore why people are running around asking, are we alone in the universe? Disclosure has happened, but nobody talks about it.
No.
So,
strange.
Really simple. And for those of you that are diggers like me, write this down. Because there is a place on the FBI website.
Yeah.
Go to vault, vault.gov.fbi. And then you go to UFO groups.
Yeah.
Look at document number 6751.
6751.
There was a CIA document created by scientists saying that, yes, we know there are alien, or they call it extraterrestrials, coming here.
Yeah.
But most of them are interdimensional beings coming here.
Right.
They admit it in their own writing.
Wow.
This document was classified for many years and
Yeah.
now has been released because of the time. You know, you can classify for 20 years and then you got to release it. So now it is available. And they kind of, in a quiet way, put it on their website, but somebody found it and now it's out there.
Ah.
So the head of the, I mentioned before that the administrator, his name was Charles Bolden. He was fired and then put on medical leave.
Yeah. Very interesting. Well, I'll have to have a look at that. Joe's already on it, so I've asked her to put the link on here. Hopefully, it won't get shut down, but it's worth a try. All right. Next question, going back a little bit as well, is from Ancient Ruby. She wants to know: does the TA-65 have embryo fluids in it?
No, it doesn't. It is actually, I think it's called a nutraceutical because
Right.
it was originally made by a pharmaceutical company, and they used natural things in it.
Yeah.
So it has no body parts or anything like that. It is basically an herbal medicine. And somebody got a hold of it, and now there's 2 or 3 companies doing it because it was released. So there are other people making it also.
Right.
Pharmaceutical companies backed off on it because you can't patent natural things, and that's why they probably backed off on it. But
Yeah.
there are companies making it, so you can check into that, or you can look at go before you do anything. Go to the Nobel Committee's website
Yeah.
and read the papers.
Yes. I've
Yeah,
got that
and that
top
was
of
in
my list.
2009. That is 4 years ago. I mean, 14 years ago. So a lot of new research has come out now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so this and this works. I've told people about it now for about 4 or 5 years, and the thing about it is, once you start reversing the aging process, all age-related diseases go away.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, because like it makes sense, doesn't it? If you're not getting old, then you're not gonna get the illnesses.
Yeah, of
So,
course, you're not old enough yet to start worrying about age, but
I am. I'm 50, so I feel about 150.
yeah.
So I'm starting to feel it now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I had hernia operation late last year, about
Yeah.
6 months ago. So I'm still kind of getting over that as well. So, but
Well,
yeah, just one of
I
them.
tell
Isn't it?
you, the astragalus is a phenomenal herb. It'll let me back up just a little bit. The human body is a self-correcting machine. If you give it what it needs to rebuild itself, it will do it. And one thing that we don't get, and that is trace minerals. We have
Right.
to have supplemental minerals. There is a U.S. Senate document dating back to 1932 saying that all farmland is now depleted of minerals. So how do we get minerals? We don't from the food. So we need supplements. Otherwise, we will,
Yeah.
it not may, we will get sick.
Yeah. Yeah. But are they stopping us from getting these minerals now?
Yeah. And
So,
then the amino acids. Think of it this way too. Humans are the only animal that cook their food and kill all of the life energy and enzymes in it before we eat it.
yeah.
Have you ever seen a monkey running through the treetops with an hibachi on his back? No, monkeys
No,
don't use
not
barbecue.
lately. Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. They probably have. I don't think they've invented barbecues for monkeys yet. So
Yeah, no, but not why the monkey doesn't have one, but why are we the only ones that cook food?
we do it because of taste.
Right.
See, our digestion system is long. It's not
Yeah.
designed for meat.
No.
And
No.
because when we eat meat, it sits in the digestion system for a day or two before it goes out.
Yeah.
And it rots on the way out. All that poison that gets in the bloodstream.
Yeah.
If we ate vegetables and fruits, it will go through very quickly.
Yeah.
Look at the cat. They have teeth that is designed to eat meat. We
Yeah.
have a vegetarian mouth and the teeth.
Yeah. 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 But yeah, Rick Allen's just put in the chat. Cooked food allows for better digestion. It drove the human brain to greater size.
Cooked food, yeah, cooked food allows for better digestion. That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You try to eat a steak raw, and you're going to have a tough time.
Yeah. You're going to be there for
But
a while, aren't you?
it's better digestion. That is absolutely right. But you
Yeah.
don't get much for nutrition value. You get filler and there are minerals in the some of the food because
Yeah.
they may have been out in the wilderness. If you eat venison, if you eat elk meat and stuff like that, yeah, and you get
Yeah.
minerals.
Cool. Thank you. Right. So we're going to jump to a quick break. Well, 5 minute break. And then we've still got a few more questions and we'll just carry on from where we are.
Okay,
Is that okay?
I'll be here.
Excellent.
I'll be back in.
Cool.
I'm going to get some more coffee and I'll be back.
I'm just going to go and gnaw on some raw meat. See you in 5.
I don't want to know.
See you in a sec.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Yeah, back. So, are we all good? Ready to carry on?
I'm good now.
Perfect. Right. Didn't eat any raw meat, thought better of it, so I just had a drink instead. Right. So we'll carry on with the questions.
I insist on having a little fun in the middle of it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Right. So we've got a few more questions for you. Next one again is from Rick Allen. So he'd like to know, does Aage think that in a world that is consuming the resources, the last thing that is needed is something to make us immortal?
Let me see, this was just the last thing that well, when we do reverse the aging process, we are nipping at the concept of immortality.
Yeah.
But personally, I think it's a hard one because sooner or later you're going to get sick, or you're going to step in front of a bus doing 60 miles an hour and all bets are off.
Yeah.
So I think, though, that there's going to be, let's say if you start living forever, there's going to be a day when you're going to look back and say, gee, I've done everything I want to do. I'm just tired of this place. I want to go back from where I came.
Yeah.
But that is important. That concept is important. When somebody is ready to leave the fourth dimension that we are in now, it should be our decision.
Right.
Not that we are getting so sick and the joints don't work, can't remember anything, can't see anything, and we're falling down all the time. That should not be the reason that we want to go back to where we came from.
Yeah.
And yes, we came from somewhere non-physical in order to come here and learn and grow spiritually.
Right. Because I was just going to ask you, excuse me, do you know where it was that we came from?
Yeah. What would you say if I told you I have found 5 different ways that you can communicate and speak with disembodied entities or spirits, and it works about all the time?
I would pay for it. Put it that way.
This is going to be free. For the listeners out there, let's just take this one and have fun with it, because
Yeah.
yes, you can. Because there is something called the Tesla Spirit Radio.
Okay.
Go to YouTube and put in the search bar the Tesla Spirit Radio, and you will find people that built this very simple radio, because Tesla put this radio together and patented it in 1901. And he made a statement in an interview when they talked about this, and he said, I don't think I can quote it, but I can generalize it. And he says, I was alone in my laboratory at night.
Yeah.
I had the radio on, and I could hear people talking back and forth in a language I did not understand.
Right.
And it horrified me. Because now Nikola Tesla was a well-educated man. He was fluent in 7 languages.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if there was a language he did not understand, when you know 7 languages, you also know a few words from other languages outside of that.
Oh, yeah.
I can get myself well understood in 5, but I can also understand a little bit outside of that.
Yeah.
So he didn't understand him, and that was in 101, long before the very first radio station in the United States was established in 1921.
Yeah.
So there were a few radios in different parts of the country, but they were at universities. They used them just for experimental purposes.
Right. Okay. Got you. Yeah.
Now that you can build this thing, and I looked it up. I cheapened it out. Actually, I think you can buy the electronic parts for about $20. But
Yeah.
I would say don't cheap out like I did. Make
Right.
it, buy good parts, and you
Yeah.
can
Pay that little bit more.
yeah,
Yeah.
make it $30.
It's like anything, isn't it? That little bit more, the stuff lasts a bit longer.
Yeah. So the thing is that we don't die. We just walk into a different room.
Right.
And we're just as alive as we were here. Our consciousness is with a body, which when you step out of the physical, you usually take your astral vehicle with you.
Yeah.
And you are right there. When you decide that you're going to die, okay, let's call it that, then when you first find yourself away from your physical body, you look back at that and say, man, oh man, is that me? You see yourself laying in that bed.
Yeah.
And then from there on, things happen. Usually there's this saying that nobody dies alone. So there's usually somebody there saying, hey, you graduated, come with me now, we're going home. That's very often. And then you can end up going through a tunnel, and you can go through a light flash, or there's different things that happen on the other side. But that is what you're talking to through the Tesla Spirit Radio. Now there's another one, and that has a lot of credibility. That is being developed at the University of Arizona under Dr. Schwartz's leadership.
Right.
He has created something that you can also Google and find out about. It's called the Soul Phone.
Right. Can you spell that, please?
SOUL phone.
Yeah.
Telephone. Phone.
Ah, right. Soul phone.
Yeah.
Arizona, University of Arizona.
Yeah. Dr. Gary Schwartz is doing that, and he's got a lot of credibility. In fact, they even got it patented.
So it must be doing something then.
What they did, they created circuitry in a computer, and actually it's a separate instrument, and they ran it through a computer.
Yeah.
And it works somewhat similar as a radionic computer. And what they do, they type questions into the computer, run it through the circuitry, and then out through the antenna. and then they get an answer coming back.
Right.
The last I heard of it, about a year ago actually, is that they type the question when it's a yes or no question.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
answer coming back, if it's red, it's a no. If it's green, it's a yes.
Mm-hmm.
And what he said, so far, when they asked the question, every answer that has come back is correct.
Ah.
That tells him this is not random. They are talking to an intelligence on the other
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Now, I am not so sure who they're talking to. It could be a disembodied entity or a spiritual being, but could also be a quantum intelligence.
Right. Cool.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm probably completely off track here, but do you think it could be intercepted by government agents and then they're like jumping in and getting to it before it goes any further, and they're replying,
Yeah,
thinking
that
that they've got something?
that is a very good thought, actually. But the thing
Is it
about
possible?
it
Is
is,
it possible? I don't understand a lot of this stuff, like
yeah,
how it works and what have you.
but it's quick. When
Yeah.
they ask the question, just a few seconds, and the answer is right there. So
Right.
whoever is at the other end, they have to have a mind that covers everything in our world.
Right. Yeah.
And the CIA agent wouldn't do that.
No. I suppose the only other way of it doing that was if they had some sort of computer system that was set up, but then
Mhm.
to like answer the questions. But I'm presuming if they did that, it'd have to be manned 24/7.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But
it was just a thought. That was all.
I know it was a good one actually. And Dr. Schwartz said that give us 5 years, and
Yeah.
we will have a phone where you can make the call and you can talk, possibly see somebody on the other side. We can talk back and forth with words, he said. We will
Yeah.
develop that because
Yeah.
they're on the track of it.
Yeah. Sorry. Ryan's just put up in the chat AI. So obviously artificial
And
intelligence.
the thing
That's
about
what I
it,
was looking for.
it is patented. You know what that means? You can go to the patent bureau and download the patent and
Oh
build
yeah.
the same thing.
And they have to tell you
Yeah,
what that pattern is.
I know. That's
Yeah.
good. Now, here's a third way that you can communicate with dead ones.
Yeah. So I'm just getting my pen and paper ready.
Okay. There is this I found out while I was still back in Europe. There was a European newspaper that was written up. I don't actually, it was translated to a Norwegian, and I read it in a Norwegian newspaper.
Yeah.
But there was a guy in southern France, and he took pictures of dead folks all the time.
Right.
What he did was he got himself a Tesla coil. And the size of the Tesla coil, when it stood next to it, there was something that it's from the ground all the way up to his knee. That's the size of it.
So about a foot and
He
a half,
went,
2 foot.
yeah, he used a Tesla coil. He went out to the graveyard,
Yeah.
put it next to a freshly dug grave, took an extension cord and plugged it in and fired
Yeah.
it up. He walked away about 20, 30 feet and started taking pictures.
Yeah.
And very often he could see the guy laying in the ground. Now he's standing right next to it. And he started showing these pictures around the village where he was at. And, this is the Bible Belt of Europe. So, his neighbors and friends in town, they turned on him. And he
Wow.
said in the interview that he had to move because otherwise they probably would have killed him.
So
Because they
did you
said,
say that?
oh,
Did you say that that was a he? Did you say he was from Norway? Or no, you read
no,
it in the
no, he
Norwegian
was from
paper, didn't you?
southern France.
Ah, right.
Yeah. And he said that they probably would have killed him because he had to move.
Yeah.
And then this is really simple also. If you have a Tesla coil, you can build those things. It's a little
Yeah.
laborsome to build it, but they're pretty simple. You can build one for $100 probably.
These,
And
I would say, these channels on YouTube that show you how to do all this.
yeah,
Anyway.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is it could be fun, especially if you know there's a haunted house. Take the Tesla coil with you. Put it in the room,
Yeah.
especially a room where you feel that it's a little colder than the other ones. That tells
Yeah.
you there's something there that absorbs the energy. And plug it in, start taking pictures. It could turn interesting.
Yeah. See if anyone's already built one and selling them on eBay.
Yeah.
It's an easy way of getting one, or easier way of getting one.
Yep.
So
Now,
right.
another thing too is you could use a radionic computer.
Yeah.
And you can communicate with the disembodied entities through that also. You can take the picture of somebody or a blood sample or a hair sample or anything that you may have, put it in the well,
Yeah.
and start turning the knobs until and rubbing the stick plate until the finger sticks. And there's a way to tune it to that frequency. And then when you do that, that is kind of almost like a telephone. It calls them and they can come.
Right.
And there we go again. You can start taking pictures. And that's I have also as a contraption that I built back in Omaha before I moved to Tucson, Arizona. And that was I built a pyramid made of coat hangers.
All
And
right. Yeah.
I wound it with the copper wire,
Yeah.
and then I put it upside down right next to the microphone on a tape recorder.
Yeah.
And now the one time we walked out to the graveyard, we had the tape recorder with us, and we had this little contraption of the upside down pyramid here.
Yeah.
And we turned around and we walked around. We didn't know what happened until we ran the tape. We could hear voices on it because somehow the funnel through the pyramid there going into the microphone of the tape recorder and get recorded onto the tape.
Yeah.
It worked.
Ah.
So this is something that people can do also. And but I remember there were three of us that went out and did this, and when we were done, we were about to leave. Then we unhooked the pyramid and we ran it back and we listened to it. And one of the guys, he heard some of the first voices and he split pretty fast.
He was gone.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Wow. That's mad. It is. It's.
Yeah. So there's things you can do to prove, because we have the voice recordings, we have the pictures,
Yeah.
we have the near-death experiences of people that know and can, by their experience can show you that, yes, this is real. There is life after what we call death.
Yeah. But to communicate, once you know how, it's easy. It's just finding that way to do it.
So
Sorry.
he's done the Tesla coil. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So
You go try it.
yeah, I know.
It's going to be fun. But find somebody's house where they say it's haunted. In England, holy moly, you got
Every
haunted
other
houses
person I know
everywhere.
claims to have an haunted house.
Yeah.
Because I do in paranormal investigating, so there's 3 different properties that I'm going to be going to over the next couple of months. So if you get a chance to build one, I'll take it with me. And if you don't hear from me again, you know it's worked and I've run off.
But the Tesla Spirit Radio is actually the simplest one to do.
Yeah.
Because the whole radio, I think I got about 14, 15 parts to it. And you can go on the internet and they show you exactly how to build it.
Yeah.
And you can build that and start working with it. To have some fun. Just don't do it at 4 a.m. with the lights off.
No, I'll wait till it's like midday and
Yeah.
a few people knocking about. Right, we've got a few more questions for you. Is that okay? One second. I've already asked that one. Right, so going back to telling us about what's going on in 2025 with the mothership, Ancient Ruby's put, then they will throw it in your face and blame aliens when it's not. So when the government doing this, look what's happening, there's a big alien invasion, when it's the government doing it, it's pretty much saying they'll blame others rather than themselves. And
yes,
go from there.
there's more to that story, and I guess I could go there. They plan on doing this Operation Bluebeam.
Yeah,
that is on the schedule. They're not going to wait till 2025. I interviewed a guy here, a friend of mine here in Tucson. That's John D'Souza. He's an ex-FBI agent, retired now. And he says that what he hears from behind the curtain, because he's still got connections at FBI.
Yeah.
And he's got his clearance. He can get into areas where we can't.
Right.
So he says it'll probably be very soon. What I'm considering very soon is sometime this year, maybe months from now. But I think also it's a very good likelihood they're going to be early next year. So within 1 year, I think they're going to unleash this program.
Yeah.
There is more to it than that, too. This will be a fake alien invasion that they're going to scare the crap out of us. So we're going to run to the government and say, please protect us.
Yeah.
And boy, will they protect us. Now, the first wave of ships you see in the sky, they are not our friends.
Right.
There will be another wave. And those are our friends.
They're the good guys. Yeah.
Because the alien presence now that you can see in orbit around the moon, huge ships.
Yeah.
50-mile long, some of them. We didn't make those.
No.
So there is a guy in Canada. It's called, he's got a YouTube channel that you need to visit.
Yeah.
Bruce Sees All.
Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce sees all. He's got a telescope that is so big I can crawl inside of it. And
Wow.
he gets close up of buildings and cities on the moon and
Yeah.
huge ships flying in orbit around it. They're there. And those are the ones that is waiting for us to get our stuff together. And when they see the fake alien invasion,
Yeah.
the people here will believe there's aliens anyway. So now they have permission to come in and clean up.
Right.
There will probably be some conflicts in the air between the real aliens that have our best interest at heart
Yeah.
and the ones that the cabal is putting together.
Yeah.
And I'm going to enjoy seeing it.
Yeah. From a distance as well.
Yeah.
Not too close. No.
Yeah. And there's another thing too, and that is that there's big rocks coming our way,
Yes.
asteroids
Yeah.
that they have not told us about, and we don't know what is going to happen.
Right.
But if they hit in the ocean, that could create tsunamis that is big enough to wipe the coast clean.
You shouldn't spread rumors like that.
Yeah,
That would not be a good image to create.
come on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's
I have to tell you what I know, what I have seen.
Oh yeah. No, appreciate it.
Because this is something that could very well happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that they say throw in your face and blame the aliens, but it's not. That is correct.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Right. Right, I'm going to jump to a couple of questions and then we'll go back to the others. So this is from Ancient Ruby. She says, does Aage think that we have free will, or is it truly manipulated to think you have free will?
Yeah, we do have free will, but it is not understand. We don't understand what free means.
Right.
Does it mean free here, or does it mean we have free will before we were born to decide what we're going to live here and do? That's the wild card, because I have a memory of what I went through before I was born.
Yeah.
And I was standing around a table. It looked like a table. It was more like kind of like a pool, and there was a fluid surface in it. And
Yeah.
I was given the choice of, I think, 3, possibly maybe 4 different life situations that I had to choose from. Each each one of them had different things in it that was presented to me. Evidently, I picked this one.
Yeah.
Because I'm living it. But I had free choice of what life situations to choose.
Yeah.
So when I come here, I am living out that free choice. That means that, let's say, there was something really bad that I agreed to go through and live and get the experience of. Really bad in our perception of it.
Right.
On the outside of the physical, there's no such thing as bad or good experiences. Those are only experiences, because
Yeah.
they last for so short a time. In a matter of a moment, you are through it in spiritual time. So
Yeah.
I chose to do some of these things that have happened to me that wasn't very nice, but I learned from it. I grew from it.
Yeah.
And some of those things, I'm really glad that I went through it. I wasn't all that happy while it happened,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I was glad because it changed my life.
yeah,
So we have free choice. Let's say, let me take another aspect of it. Let's say that you decide to come back here and have cancer. You know, that's the big one. You know,
yeah,
one out of three people, you know, in the United States gets cancer because they're still using chemo. And, you know, 97% of the people that take chemo, they are dead in 5 years. That's
yeah,
statistics right on the Cancer Society's website. Now, the thing is that if we decide that we're going to have that experience and live it, if we are able to find someone else that has cancer,
yeah,
get with them, get in their mind, talk to them and feel how they feel, learn from them how it is, what it is. We may get the experience through someone else, so we don't have to have it, but we get the same learning experience.
right. Yeah,
That's a little off to the side, but
yeah,
it kind of works that way.
yeah. I get what you mean.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a bit deep, but it,
Yeah,
I understand it. Yeah,
and that goes for absolutely anything else too. When you have negative things happening in your life,
yeah,
don't don't talk to yourself and say, "Oh, poor me! I'm so sorry that this was done to me." Yeah, you did it to you,
yeah,
most likely. But look back and say, "What did I learn from that experience? Or what am I learning right now while going through it? What value is the laying in here?" There's always opportunities in every experience you have, opportunities to grow and do new things.
yeah,
And we don't necessarily think of it that way, but it is.
yeah, yeah. Like you say,
Yeah.
when I started doing this, I didn't realize I'd be doing it because it started off as a hobby, just going out investigating and that. And I thought I'll do it as a live stream. And then when the crappy weather came, I thought I'll sit in and do it on the computer and just talk to other people about it, like yourself. And now, what, 2 years down the line, I'm doing it at least
Yeah.
at least once a week. So
Mhm.
I never thought it was possible. So it is. It's if you put your mind to something, you can
Yeah.
achieve it. Definitely.
This is the physical experience, and it is very hard to make it through all of it without having something negative happen because it was put there for us to learn from and grow from.
Yeah.
And you're the one that most likely put it there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some
Completely.
of the stuff we do, we hear about karma.
Yeah.
And when we do something to someone else, oh boy, that could be karma, couldn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
But there is a way around that. And that is something I'm getting a lot of flack on this, but I saw how it would work to release karma. And it's
Okay.
done through understanding and forgiveness.
Right.
If we let's say we did something to someone, we didn't even know we did it, but they reacted, so it turned out really bad on their part.
Yeah.
So we hurt them. We can forgive ourselves from doing it, and then
Okay.
of course don't do that anymore. But forgive ourselves and forget forgive the other person for allowing us to do it, and then try to think in their situation. How did they feel? Try to understand what the feelings were at the other person's site, so you can learn how they felt, and then you can import that feeling to yourself so you understand it. When you have forgiveness like that on both, then your slate is clean, where
Yeah.
you don't need their forgiveness because you have forgiven them too.
Right.
Whatever they do is on them. But this can release karma, so we don't have to go back home and stand around that pool, that table, and the guardians of the soul are telling you, boy, did you screw him over really bad. You got to go back and straighten that out. You don't
Yeah.
want to hear that.
No. No. That's the last thing you want.
Yeah. But there will be a time when you are standing around with, they call themselves the guardians of the soul, and you will choose a different lifetime, or it don't have to be on Earth. You could choose one on another planet
Yeah.
or on a spaceship. There are spaceship up there that is so big, they are planet size. And
Right.
people living there, they have never set foot on any planet at all. They born there, live their life for hundreds of years, and they die there.
Wow.
We have one right now, recently, a few days ago, that was discovered next to the sun. It is 200 and some thousand miles across.
Wow.
Huge.
Bit big.
Many times the size of Earth.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen a few different like photos and videos
Yeah.
of these, I suppose, different shaped crafts that are flying in or near and around the sun.
Yep. There's another one too. There was a planet size, actually very big planet size
Yeah.
object that was sitting next to the suns. And Osho took that picture, the satellite that monitors the sun,
Yeah.
and that they could see a swirl, a tornado of material coming from the sun and going into it. They were absorbing the energy or plasma from the sun as
Yeah.
their fuel, possibly. I think you've probably seen that one. It's been around
Yeah.
for a
I think
while.
that's one. That was one of them that I've seen.
Yeah.
And there's one. There's a what? There's one. It's going to look black anyway because it's silhouetted to the sun. But there's one of a giant cube. I can't remember the size of that. Well, that was a few hundred miles, or a few thousand miles across.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the last. That was a couple of weeks ago. I was reading about that one.
Yep.
Yeah, because he was saying that that one was using. It connected something to the sun to absorb, to get the energy from it to use as, I suppose, fuel.
Yeah. It's there's stuff going out there, and if you go to Bruce Sees All,
Yeah,
you can see some of those ships. I mean, they're huge, hundreds of miles long.
yeah. But
We don't
see,
make that stuff.
no. See, my next question is: if they're that close to the sun, and we're told the sun is so many degrees hot, why are these ships not melting to nothing?
Well, they obviously have a shielding device,
Yeah,
and as we remember on Star Trek, they also had that.
right.
They were traveling on one of the shows, they were traveling in the corona of the sun, going around it, slingshot back in time.
Right.
So, yes, the science for this is built around the old technology that was discovered by the Nazi Germans. And in 19, I mean, they built from 1940 all the way up, they built circular flying discs.
Yeah.
They had the Honebu 1, the Honebu 2, 3, and 4, and
Yeah.
these were built around the Glocke, or the bell. and that created a plasma bubble around the ship. Everything inside that bubble, the gravity and weight were neutralized.
Right.
And that's the kind of ship that was able to go through the they left and went to the moon in 1942.
Yeah.
They built a base on the moon after 1942.
So there's the Van Hellebelt.
Yeah. In fact, if you go to broadcastteamalpha.com and go scroll down to the moon pictures, that's another documentary Nori and I did.
Yeah, I'll just
You
put
will
this up
see,
again.
you there will see there is a crater with a building inside of it that is swastika shaped.
Ah,
And the Germans found this building. They fell in love with it and they started rebuilding. It's an old stone building.
yeah,
And that's where they are today. At least one of the bases. They may have others.
yeah.
I
Wow.
think that is Schrodinger crater. I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but it's there. You can
Yeah,
see this is a NASA print that show it.
wow. I'm so glad you came on tonight. I'm learning so much. stuff I
Well,
didn't, stuff
I'm
I
having
didn't
fun
even
with.
know I needed to know.
Yeah, we should do it again. I'm having
Oh,
fun.
definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been great.
But when we talk about the moon, one of the people at NASA said there is more evidence that the moon is not there than the scientific evidence of the moon actually being there.
Right.
How could that be explained? Well, it's really very simple, actually.
Oh.
We know how big the Earth is.
Mm-hmm.
We know how much gravity it puts out. We know how big the moon is. We
Yeah.
know the gravity there is about a quarter, or actually, it's close to half.
Yeah.
And we know how fast the moon is moving around Earth. We know the centrifugal force created by its movement around the Earth.
Yeah.
If you feed all of this into a computer, it doesn't come out. The
Right.
moon, as it is, if it was solid, it is too big, too heavy to keep the orbit as close as it is. If the
Right.
moon was totally there and solid, it would have to be about 2/3 way further out away from Earth in order to hold an orbit around Earth.
Yeah.
But if the moon is hollow, it doesn't
Yeah.
have the weight, it doesn't have the gravity,
Right.
and then it could hold a closer orbit.
Yeah. Hmm.
This is what the guy at NASA talked about. It
Right.
can't hold the orbit it has, it's impossible. But if it was hollow, it
It
could.
is possible.
Yeah.
It's all mind blowing. All this. It's just more and more questions with everything you say. It's a good thing. So
Yeah, and there's another reason why disclosure has happened. One of the people at NASA, his name was, um, let's see, Bloomerich. Yeah, that's him. Uh, he was the leading engineer at the Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. He
yeah.
studied all the picture and activities on the moon for 18 months. He was looking at what the Russian brought home and what the Americans brought home. And he made the statement the moon and Earth are and have been visited on a regular basis by extraterrestrial beings. That was Bloomerich's statement
Yeah.
30 years ago.
Wow.
And also Medvedev, that was the president of Russia at the time, And he made the statement that he was asked at the tail end of an interview, what can you tell us about the alien presence here? And he said he thought the cameras were off.
Right. So
But
he
they
thought
weren't.
to say
And
whatever
he
he wanted.
said, yeah, when we take off, he says, we get this dossier, a file, and they explain about the alien presence, but they tell us that we can't talk about it because they're afraid of panic.
Right.
Now, the cameras were running and he didn't know it. And the live TV in Moscow, Russia, they ran the whole thing.
Wow.
It was on TV over there.
Did this guy go missing at any point soon after that?
Yeah. I have a saying, and that is that if all the evidence for UFOs and extraterrestrial visitors was taken into a court of law, presented before a judge and a jury, there would have been a hanging a long time ago.
Yeah, I think there'd have been a few, wouldn't there?
Yeah. All the evidence is there, but it's just denied. Governments are good at that. They just deny, and things goes away because people that believe anything the government are telling you. I have pictures from the moon in the moon pictures and broadcast team alpha that show green vegetation in the bottom of some of the craters. That's kind of strange, isn't it?
No, I'm back.
Yeah, and also the thing about that, there are old documents coming out of India dating back 12,000 years, 10,000 years. They talk about there was a time before the moon. And also, at one time, there were two moons, the one we have, and also another one that was slightly blue in color.
Right.
That's a written scrolls coming out of India. So yeah, there was a time before the moon, which means this moon was flown in and parked around Earth.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just.
There used to be thousands of pictures from the moon, but they were classified. Right. 30 years ago, I used to dig around in the archives and I wrote to NASA and says, what about this picture, that picture? And some of them I sent, and I got some real doozies on that video documentary. You can see it. There are, one of them is a 2-mile long cigar-shaped ship floating across the surface of the moon, throwing a shadow on the ground. Clear as a bell. You can see it. And NASA is telling us that the moon is a dead rock in the sky, but why is there so much activity up there?
Yeah, doesn't
this is good. There is a NASA document that was classified up to, I think, a few years ago. It was released, and you can Google it, and you'll find the document and read it. That explains activities on the moon for the last 300 years since we invented the telescope. Right. And they show light flashes. One of them show a bridge that was built over a crater. And this document you can get your hands on if you Google chronological catalog of lunar events.
Right.
Chronological catalog of lunar events. Read that document. There are very prominent people with good telescopes that say, yes, we see stuff up there that shouldn't be if it was a dead rock.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, there does seem to be a lot of activity and not a lot being spoke about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was going to say before, the government are good at not answering questions.
Okay.
So they're good at what they
Well,
do. Right. We've got a few minutes left. We've got 3 more questions. Is that okay?
yeah, just lay it on me.
Right. So, first one is from Ancient Ruby. What does Aage think of the weather manipulation and spreading poisons onto our lands? We are all being slowly killed.
I don't really know what to say except I totally agree with Ancient Ruby.
Thank you.
This is part of the depopulation program. If you go and, I'm going to say this, but I got to ask you something. Are you on YouTube also?
Yeah.
Okay, then I can't say it because they're going to shut you off.
Oh,
There is a program, it's a depopulation program
right.
that sanctioned by the UN, and they want the population of Earth down to 800 million people by 2030. They, yeah, it's in their own papers. Now,
Yeah.
the chemtrails, they are spraying us with all kinds of chemicals
Right.
and bacteria to
Okay.
make people sick.
Yeah.
And it goes not just on us, but it goes on the food in the fields. So wash the food really thoroughly before you eat it.
Yeah.
This is a global program,
Right.
except in China.
Okay.
The Chinese are not part of it.
Right. I was just about to ask you,
Yeah.
are they? Is there a reason why they're not part of it?
I think they just don't. Yeah, they're overpopulated, is what we're told.
Yeah.
Same place they say, oh, there's too many people on Earth. No. If you took every man, woman, and child on Earth
Yeah.
and look at Russia, Eastern Russia, there's hardly anybody there.
Empty.
Alaska, there's hardly anybody there.
Yeah.
Even in Africa, hardly anybody there. It's just around the.
Is it? I think, from what I remember, it's something like it's either 17 or 27% of inhabitable parts of the planet. There's on like 27% of Earth that you can live is actually populated if you put everyone together.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got what 73% is still empty.
Yeah. So yeah, we're being lied to. Everything the government tell you is a lie or attached to one.
Yes. Yep. I just don't trust them. I'll believe him or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's annoying that they can't just come out and tell us the truth.
Yeah, and it's getting tricky to stay healthy and stay alive these days, especially because this thing that people put in their upper arm up here,
Yeah.
That's designed to reduce the population within 5 years to bring it down to 800 million.
Right. Yeah.
And it could do it.
Let's hope they don't, but
yeah,
we never know. Right.
Well,
so
you got to remember, hope is not a plan.
Definitely. Yeah.
We have to do our research and find out what can neutralize the effects of it.
Yes.
There are things out there that can do that, but since you're on YouTube, we really shouldn't go there.
No, need to draw the line at some point. Right. 2 more quick questions. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So one's from Ruby and one's from Rick. So I'll do one from Ruby first. Will you accept being recycled again?
Recycle, the incarnated, is that the one that you're thinking of maybe?
Yeah. It's just how Ruby's
Yeah,
worded it.
I have been there before. I have memories of previous lifetimes. I've gone back and looked at it. And yeah, there is a way you can do that. Learn self-hypnosis, you can do those.
Yeah,
Actually, not self-hypnosis so much because it's hard to get that deep, but have someone else do the hypnosis with you, bring you down into the theta range of brainwave patterns, and you can have memories of previous lifetimes.
yeah,
Or have a download like I did where you can see some of these things. And
right.
I don't think I really care to come back here anymore. I'm ready for other experiences.
Yeah, time to do something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then last question. So, bit of a turn in what we've been talking about, but we can end it on this. So, this is from Rick Allen. What does Aage think shadow people are?
Oh, Rick, you wouldn't ask that question, Rick, unless you've seen them. And I have them in this house. They're everywhere.
Yeah,
Especially in the last year or so, they're becoming more visible out of the corner of my eye. And there's a reason for that. When
yeah,
you see them out of the corner of the eye and then you look over there, they're gone.
yeah,
There's a reason for that. The periphery of the back of the eye on the retina can pick up higher vibratory light than the center can.
ah,
Well, you can see them out there, but when you turn on, look at them, they're gone. Because
yeah,
now, when you look at it straight ahead, you're looking at the center of the retina, and that can't pick it up. And there
right.
are other entities living in the house with you.
Oh,
And from what I understand is that they can see us, but we can't see them.
yeah,
And we are never alone. There's always somebody around.
right.
So
That's
consider
creepy on its
that when
own.
you're just sitting at home watching TV or something. Somebody is watching.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just never gonna have that thought.
Yeah, but
But
they are there, and they're not dead. These are other realities,
right.
the different vibration, and
Yeah,
they feel as physical as we are.
yeah. Hmm. So, it's, just trying to think. So if they're still living and they can see us,
Yeah.
what's their purpose?
Well, I don't know the purpose. They got to live somewhere. So,
Yes.
so maybe they just invaded your home and said, "This looks like a nice place. Hey, look at it. You know, I think I
We'll
want to stay here."
yeah, we'll squat here for a bit. We don't have to pay rent. Get food whenever we want it. That's
Yeah,
all
I,
good.
I don't know. I'm joking about that, but I don't
No,
know
no.
why.
Yeah. Do you think they're there to put? Oh, I'm trying to think of the phrase for this fear tactics.
Well, the thing is that those entities, that the shadow people, they are also on a spiritual journey,
Right.
different from us, possibly, but they are on a spiritual journey. They have things happening in their life that they learn and grow from, and
Yeah.
then they change form and go back and possibly get a new assignment, and they come back to on a
Ah,
different level of existence. Quantum
yes.
mechanics has proven now through repeatable experiments and showing the equations on the board, they have proven that we have at least 11 different dimensions.
Yes.
And there is things in each one of those
Right.
dimensions.
Yeah. Different things in each one. Yeah. Well, that's when I came up with the title for this, the 12th dimension.
Yeah.
'Cause I've heard that there's 11, so I thought, well, I'll make it
Yeah.
12 now.
Yeah, and Albert Einstein said, I can prove on that was back his time. I can
Yeah.
I think he said 9 dimensions. But if I extend the equations, I will probably find more.
Yes. Yes.
See, when
No.
you move into quantum mechanics, it can explain spirituality, explain the afterlife, it can explain our reality, it can explain it all. If you're just not afraid to step down from the blackboard and
Yeah.
look at something else that I call spiritual science. There we go.
Yep. There we go. There it is.
There is a spiritual science, and that is the one that is of a higher vibration, of a spiritual nature. I call anything beyond the physical, I call it spiritual
Yeah.
science.
Oh, yeah, because that's what it is. Isn't it,
Because
really?
here we are locked in linear time. And
Yeah.
the lower levels of the astral world, you still have linear time, but up and beyond that, all past, present, and future exist at the same present moment.
Yeah.
So all you have being there, all you have to do is to concentrate on a specific incident or a specific moment, and it will come right out of the quantum, and you can observe and participate in it.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about that today, about the past, present, and future all happening at the same time. I
Yeah.
don't know why. I was just, because I drive for a living, so I was going down this country road. It's like at like 10, 15 minutes to my next job. And I just started thinking about it. It's like, so it really does mess with my head how all three can exist and have existed
Yeah,
from the
this
beginning
is
to the end.
it's hard to wrap our heads around.
Yeah, it's yeah,
Because when you think of it, past, present, and future at the same time, well,
shouldn't
how do you know what you want to interact with if it's all there? But that's simple. All you have to do is to think of a specific incident, and that pops out, and you can participate in it or observe it.
yeah. But the thing, what I don't know if most people would struggle with is any future incidents because we're, I suppose, living in the present. So even though the future is kind of already happened, we've not experienced it. So how would we pluck at that one to see that?
I missed that last part. Say again.
So how could we pluck to get an experience from the future if we don't know what that experience is going to be? That's the only way I
Um,
can explain it. I don't know.
I was going to go there if I think we have time.
Yeah, we've still got a few minutes.
Okay. Past, present, and future exists outside of the physical in the quantum existence.
Right.
If you have thought of something or someone else have thought of something,
Right.
it is automatically placed in the
So, yeah,
quantum existence. Some
it's
call it
put
the
there.
Akashic records, and there's other names for it. It's there because when you thought of something, you placed it there and gave it a low form of life.
Yeah.
Now it is out there. But what you thought of, you didn't have now. You thought of something that you wanted in the future. Now you can go there and you bring that
Yes.
home into the present. Because when it comes back from the quantum existence, it also comes with energy. And energy, it's a conscious energy that can create in the physical. It's just that in the physical reality, you have to deal with the physical laws of physics.
Yeah.
So to create something from absolutely nothing is a little difficult to do.
But
But
can I just jump in there?
yeah, we do that actually. In Nori Love and I, we put together a mastermind where we create things
Yeah.
out of nothing, seemingly nothing. It isn't nothing because it comes from the quantum. If
Yeah.
anybody want to participate in that, they're welcome to.
Oh, definitely.
Deep.
Yeah.
But
I was just going to say, I've actually done that.
yeah,
I know, I'm not going to go into detail now. I'll talk about it again on another show. I might just do one and just talk about this. But I had a conversation with a guy who we used to house share, and I got him a job where I worked. And we was talking about what's going to go on in the future. And I actually said, well, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, that's going to happen. And I'm actually doing some of that now. And that's not speaking to anybody. That's just come from my mind. Also, I think. And even like 6 months after I had the conversation with my mate, he said, I can't believe you said this, and this, and look at what you're doing now. All of them things that you said to me is what is happening in real time. And you just triggered, with you saying that triggered what went on a few years ago. That's really freaky.
I am probably, I don't know this, but I am probably the only one that I know of that has pictorial evidence of time travel.
Okay.
And you can go into the picture gallery on broadcastteamalpha.com. I think it's page 17, possibly. I have 2 pictures there that explains it all.
Right, I'll just pop this up again.
And in this book about spiritual science, higher conscious thinking, and how to access the universal consciousness, I show people how to do it. I teach people how they can actually do time travel. It is, I have an electronic device that I've had some very strange experiences with. In 2003, BBC television found out about it, and they came over to the United States to do a TV documentary on time travel. They met with Michio Kaku and Green and myself, and I demonstrated that time travel device on their TV documentary. That was shown to about 1 billion people in every English-speaking country. And I have some pictures that actually prove it is real.
Right.
And in the book, I show people how to do these things. The electronic device I have, I don't really use anymore.
Right.
Because you can do the same thing with your mind. You can go there and you can see and observe and participate. And this gets really deep, but you really can. And also, there are repeatable scientific experiments that show that you can go back and correct the past. Now, UCLA, there is some people out there, brilliant minds, that has done experiments with this, and they made it work.
Right.
In the small way. Like if it can be done in a small way, all you have to do is to expand the mind around it, and you can do it
bigger. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Tonight has just been it has, honestly, virtually everyone in the chat have all said how good tonight has been.
I probably took you out into the weeds a little bit, but it's
don't
all
worry
right.
about that.
Yeah.
It's fine. Look, everyone's entitled to their own beliefs and opinions, and it's got nothing to do with anyone else. But
the thing about this is that in this book, you can attain a super mind.
Yeah.
And I teach people in here how to use their mind in ways that is normally thought of as impossible. And there is nothing that is impossible if you expand the mind around it. And I think also I'm the only one that I know of that make myself totally available to anybody that buys the book. They can contact me by email or text or whatever they do.
Yeah.
And I'll answer questions. I'll talk to them because I sold thousands of these books, but you'd be
Yeah.
surprised how few people take advantage of that.
Ah,
I I'm mentoring a few people out there.
yeah.
According to another book that I wrote about universal success principles and how billionaires think. It's another one where to show you how to get in the mind of super successful people and apply the principles I talk about in here.
Right. Wow. So we are going to have to end that there because the time is ticking, so to
Yeah,
speak. But I'll be in touch. But would you consider coming back on again and going more in depth with everything?
yeah. You just call and I'll be there.
Cool. Well, I've got all your details and what have you. So we've got, I think, July, August are the next available dates. But if you stay on once we finish this tonight and have a quick chat, is that okay?
Yeah,
Unless you need to shoot off. If you need to
yeah,
go, I can message you over the weekend.
yeah, we can communicate in text or email also.
Yeah,
I
you've got
have
all my.
Yeah, right after this, I have to run and there's a UFO meeting in town here, and I'm one of the
Right,
speakers.
okay. Well, what
Yeah,
I'll drop you a message over the weekend,
yeah,
and we'll sort something out.
we'll find a
Okay.
date.
Yeah, yeah, because obviously I don't want to hold you back from what you've got to go and do now.
Yeah,
So it's been an absolute pleasure having you on tonight, and I think everyone in the chat completely
yep,
agrees. Yeah, I do. I know I do say this all the time, but you have got to be one of the best guests ever.
yep. I
I
had
honestly,
fun.
from the bottom of my heart, I really do mean it.
Yeah,
It has
I
been
had a lot of fun
absolutely
because,
amazing.
yep, it's like I say, I never met a microphone I didn't like, so I had a lot of fun.
Excellent. Right. Well, I'll let you go then, and I'll end the show. And like I said, we'll chat over the weekend.
Yeah,
So, all right. So, thank you
that's
again
good.
for your time, and speak to you soon.
Okay, sounds good. And in the words of Spock, live long and prosper.
All right. Take care. Speak to you soon.
Yeah, take care.
All right. See ya. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Wow, what a guest. Absolutely amazing. Don't know what to say. Just wow. It wasn't what I expected, put it that way. So, massive thank you for everyone asking the questions and joining in. Thank you for your positivity tonight. This is going to be going out on podcast via Podbean. It should be on all the major podcast players. I have actually got a couple of pre-recordings that I'm going to be doing, but they're only going to be going out on podcasts and not going to be visual, so they're not going to be going onto YouTube. So please, can you go onto the podcast player and follow, like, share, subscribe, whatever it is you do on there. Next week, so on Wednesday, we've got Natalie Zett coming back on. I'm not sure if that's going to be paranormal or non-paranormal. And then on Good Friday, we've got Amanda Quill coming on, who is Rob Demarest's other half. She's going to be talking about Native Americans and the spirituality of all that. Then the following week, on the Wednesday, we've got Dark Lake Paranormal on the 12th. Excuse me. And then on the 14th, we've got Jessica Jones and Barry Littleton coming on. So please do not miss them because they are going to be as good as this. So that's it. So have a great week and speak to you all soon. Take care and good night. In a minute, want to find me a video?